Hello, hello, darlings. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Am I the only one out of sorts tonight? Is it just me? If so, okay.
No, I've been feeling like that all day, but it is what it
Okay,
is.
okay. I'm not alone. You are not alone.
We're
All
in this
right.
together.
Yeah, I'm a little out of sorts tonight, but we're gonna get through. We ain't gonna be here before you long, ladies and gentlemen. But this is an interesting topic nonetheless. Welcome to On the Block with Jen Tuesday night. Tonight we are talking about Tyler Perry statements that lit up the internet. Yes, they did. The ladies are mad at Tyler this week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way in. I am Jen of On the Block with Jen, your favorite devil's advocate. You can reach me on all social media platforms, On the Block with Jen, across the board. If you'd like to contribute to keeping the street lights on, hit me on my Cash App. It's also On the Block with Jen, scrolling at the bottom. Thank you to everyone who donates. Okay, after we're off air. Love you much. Appreciate you much. And I'm going to pass the mic, Lily. If you'd like to
Um,
talk about yourself, that's fine. If you want to start, whatever y'all want to do tonight. Whatever y'all want to do tonight.
well, I'm Lily of YB Limited. You can find me here on YouTube. I have a new video up, Lily's Lessons, a new episode of that. Another episode is coming tomorrow. You can find me at all places YB Limited. That's the letter Y, the letter B, the word limited. No saint. Have you lost weight?
I don't know.
You looking slim, trim, and light skinned.
I have to jump on a scale. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe.
looks good.
Music
Okay, shall we
producer,
begin?
musician and music producer Heron DeMarco. You can catch me here as Heron DeMarco. You can catch me on IG as Dangerous DeMarco, and you can catch me on Spotify and Apple as Heron DeMarco.
And I am Saint No Saint, or just No Saint, but Saint No Saint on YouTube, Saint No Saint on IG, No Saint on TikTok, and that's where you can catch me. And right here on the Block with Jim.
All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that like and subscribe on your way in, like it says on the screen. Hit the like, gracias. Don't forget to check out, okay, our last streams were absolutely freaking amazing, amazing. What's up, YouTube Press? What's up, Adam Hearn? You guys are in here early. Good to see you, gentlemen. Okay, so tonight we're talking about Tyler Perry. We got some fluff, right? Remy Ma's cheating on her man. Everybody's talking about it. Okay.
Yeah. People, they made themselves a symbol of black love,
Okay.
a symbol of couple goals. I mean, if
All
you're
right.
just think about it. I mean, just think about the romance of being locked up in prison and your man being there for you for 6 years and him coming up to the prison these are his words, every single day and
Wow.
staying there all day to be with his imprisoned wife, only to come home and have a beautiful love story of being a house husband.
Okay, now Lily, we've done our rounds on both sides of that cell, and we do know that the VIs, the visits, are not allowed on a daily. Somebody's capping.
That's what I was trying to figure out because usually there's like visiting days, like maybe one
Yeah.
or 2 days out of the week if you lucky.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Somebody's lying.
I really wanted more information to that too, because I actually had to, because I read it and I went and found him saying it out of his mouth, and I'm just looking like this, like,
Yeah. I mean,
ain't
I was a 15-year-old kid with a fake ID on, trailing it out to Rikers Island to visit the homies. And I know that it wasn't daily. You had to have a certain letter on the day of the week, the person's last name. Come on. Good.
all of
Every
that.
day. Come on now. Somebody's capping. But
Bird said, "Man, black people be lying." Yes, they do, Adam. Lying. I mean, and let's just entertain this fabricated, grandiose, scenario for a minute. Your papoose, what did you have going on anyway? It's not like you were working on an application with Mark Zuckerberg. It's not like you had a solo album dropping. It's not like motherfuckers, the streets were waiting patiently for you to drop that heat. What the fuck were you gonna do?
dang. All right.
Well,
Well,
what are we gonna do with all these Black Love T-shirts that are
and
floating around?
we switching for the win T-shirt, Lily. We
Oh,
switching for the
okay.
win T-shirt.
Just got the memo.
I'll say this and then we could be done with it. I don't really care for Remy Ma. Never. I mean, if it wasn't for Fat Joe, the woman would be, lost in the sauce way back in the 90s, right? And it's so funny when that whole war was going on with Puerto Ricans, we're busy, they didn't do shit for hip hop. I'm like, well, if not for the big old Puerto Rican, you wouldn't even know who the fuck Remy Ma was. Okay, so let's give a little credit where credit is due. Okay,
2 Puerto Ricans, because we
there
found
you
about
go.
Pond.
There you go, right? And I think that's why even Joe even took her on because Pun was so impressed by her or whatever. I don't know what Pun was thinking. I don't know. So I've never cared for her as a rapper. I've never cared for her as a person. I've just never cared for her. That's why I didn't really want to do this story. I was like, I don't give a fuck about nobody's Remy Ma. But I will say this: if we're gonna look at the dynamic, I feel like she wears the pants in that relationship. He took a very feminine role. You know what I mean? From the time that she was locked up to the time that she was out, she's the more popular person, thanks to Fat Joe. And she's the one that he waited on. Usually that's, women do that, right? Women will wait for a guy to get out of prison. He waited. He was very adamant about letting the world know I'm waiting on my baby. So, I'm sure she's the dominant masculine energy in that relationship from what I see them, when they running around and stuff. Like there's a lot of he loves her, but on the reality shows I've seen them on very briefly because I don't watch those two. I do see that she has the more masculine energy. And what happens when men have less masculine energy with a woman in a relationship, eventually she's going to want a bigger, fatter, harder dick than she got. That's just life. And I know you guys hate it. But that's just life. That's just life. It happens every day, B. Women cheat every day, B, when they running around with a dude that, they feel like, motherfucker, you waited for me 6-7 years and running around to everybody, all right, okay. Well, and I'm sure whoever she cheated with is más macho. But I'll pass the mic.
Well, go ahead, Herman.
Well, it's like I often say, look, man, if a woman senses that you've peaked in your life to some degree, whatever it is, and she still has more to go, she's still flowing, she's still out here getting it, and you peaked and you're pretty much doting behind her, I don't give a fuck what they say. I mean, yeah, they can like you. I mean, they can like you. They can even love you. But just because a woman loves you doesn't mean she respects you. I'll say it again. Just because a woman loves you doesn't mean she fucking respects you. Okay, and that's what a lot of you dudes really get confused. You think that just because a motherfucker loves you, that means she respects you. No, it's two totally different fucking things, man. You know what I mean? And Papoose is over there being Pap with his fitted cap and, his job is Mr. Remy Ma. I have no fucking clue. This motherfucker he's lived up to nothing. I mean, she figured out, she's constantly doing records with Joe. She figured out how to make some battle rap shit popping. I'm sure she's the reason why they got the Love and Hip Hop gig. Like, what did you contribute to the brand, bro? Like, how did you help the brand, secure itself for another 10 fucking years outside saying that I love Remy and I'm gonna hold her down? Like, after a while, when a woman is in those circles, those battle rap circles, and she see motherfuckers going at each other in hyper aggressive motherfucking manners, and motherfuckers are winning and doing it. I'm sorry, man. Her hormones and her biology is gonna take over, and she's gonna get wet than a motherfucker because she's seeing a motherfucker who's aggressive, pumped up, winning. He's in his bag, and she got to come home to you talking about, hey, honey, I baked you cookies. You got a fucking apron on, and you took care of the kids.
Tell the truth and shame the devil on this Tuesday. Absolute 72 says, wait, so y'all think that's real? I don't know if it's real or not. I'm totally speaking on the speculation. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's just rumored. I don't know if she's trying to sell something. I don't know if they're trying to get press. I don't know if they have another season of Love and Hip Hop, and this is a great way to get their names buzzing again. I do not know. So I'm just speculating as if it is. happening, but I don't have any concrete evidence. So don't quote me on, oh, she cheated. I do not know. I'm just speaking on the dynamic and what I see of them as a couple. And I'm telling you, if she wasn't involved with Fat Joe, I think they'd still have a shot. Right? Because she'd feel like, okay, now we're equal. But since Fat Joe is running her all over the world and he got her on main shows like the Ellen Show and always bigging her up, and now his platform has grown and he's mainstream, right? And he's constantly putting her. I don't know why he's constantly promoting her. She doesn't rap. She has no album. She's not. I don't know. I don't know what that thing is there. There's so many other rappers out that are killing the game that I think if Fat Joe did want to promote somebody, I mean, you got Rhapsody. I can't. You know what I mean? I can't. Rhapsody,
Chica,
for Pete's sake. You know what I mean? There's so
Chica.
many. Right, there's so many rappers that if he wanted to run around with somebody and be like, "Yo, this is sis," I don't know why he chose Remy Ma out of all the talented female rappers that are out. It's confusing to me, but whatever. Again, I go back to, had it not been for the limelight that Joe keeps her in, I think she maybe would have felt more equal to Papoose. But right now she's feeling like I'm the star in the relationship. Is there a shot for Papoose? He'd have to go to the gym, okay, because he fits my clothes. He'd have to go to the gym. That's one, okay. He'd have to get hella aggressive, okay. He'd have to choke up a little bit, give it a long dick, but he's not going to do that. He's not built that way. So, you know what I mean? A woman's going to do what a woman's going to do. You can't fight nature.
So that's why I wanted to do this story tonight, because I felt like it was so appropriate to the main topic. It's very appropriate. But we'll get to that.
What say you know?
I just want to throw something out there, a story, and again, I don't know how much it goes with tonight, but I thought it was interesting. So, Jen, have you heard of Lauren Boebert?
No.
So Lauren Boebert is the Christian nationalist representative of Colorado, and she was caught on film being fondled and fondling the manager of a cross-dressing show bar. Thought that was really interesting. They have it on video. So yeah, you can look it up. So yeah, I thought that was interesting because she's one of these representatives that, well, she wants the church to have more power, and she's pretty much anti everything that she considers to be immoral. But yet,
I mean, they all do. All religious people do. I mean, that's a topic for another day. We can go over that. I haven't researched that. I've never heard of that woman. Don't know.
Yeah. I thought that would be interesting, though.
Yeah. Thank you, Louis Kanye, for the super chat. What's up to you, sir? James Oko. So if a married man finds a woman that's more feminine, cheating is okay? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. That's what happens. That's what human beings do. When, first of all, they're not naturally monogamous. Y'all could try to fit that square into the hole all you like. However, human beings are not naturally monogamous. They are so by tradition, okay, religion, fear of being alone. The old, no one's going to wipe her ass at 80. They're not naturally monogamous. So yes, if a man finds a woman that's more feminine, he's going to be more attracted to her innately. He may cheat. You know what I mean? Yeah, it is fucking natural. Now, whether it's okay or not is up to the woman that he's with and what deal they got going on. But that is what happens. When a woman sees a man more masculine than the man she got at home, she gets wet. When a man sees a woman that's more feminine than the woman he got at home, he gets a woody. That is life. Welcome to the real world.
Well, I would say that it doesn't even, I don't know if it's the more feminine, at least for men. I don't know if it's more feminine or just something different, because if you're with someone, and I've seen guys that you were like, well, how is she getting cheated on? With Arnold Schwarzenegger, let's just throw it out there. What the hell is he doing with the maid? He's got a plethora of women I'm sure he could have cheated with. You know what I mean? So,
I think with Arnold, that was proximity, and she was willing to suck his dick. She was in the house. She was in the house 24 hours a day.
I get that too, but I'm just saying, you've seen. I mean, I've seen some guys that were with what on the outside would look like a downgrade compared to who they were with. Sometimes, I guess people get bored. Humans get bored and are looking for something different.
I'm just addressing the femininity because James is big on black men are usually they got a big hard on for this femininity shit. So I'm just
Yeah.
addressing his thing. And when men are with women, and it's ironic and it's a great segue for tonight's topic, because when men are with women they need to go 50-50 with, those women are more masculine. And they usually cheat with a woman that's more feminine. Now that woman that's more feminine may not have to work as hard to keep your fucking home together. See, that's the thing. So it's a great segue for tonight. What do? They pillow talk with the mistress. They pillow talk with the side chick. She's softer. Why is she softer? Because she doesn't have to deal with any of his shit. She doesn't have to wash his fucking dirty underwear. She doesn't have to raise his rugrats. So she gets to be as soft as feminine and bend over and give him head and whatever. She gets all the pillow talk and all his right? But if she were to get with him and they were living together under the home, the dynamic would change. Right? It's easy to be feminine when you're not responsible for a fucking man.
I will say this on the other side of things. I've left the so-called pick me before, because after a while that shit was just fucking boring. It was just fucking boring, man. It was just like she said yes to every fucking thing. You know what I mean? It was like a fucking dog. It was like, you know what I mean? It's like you don't have a problem with anything. Like you're saying yes to every fucking thing. Like who the fuck wants that? You know what I mean?
Gross.
And yeah, I left it for someone who was a fucking alley cat in bed, and she, she had a little bit of edge to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to what Jen was saying, it's great. I mean, it's an interesting thing because it all goes down to how much resources you have. Because she's saying it's a lot easier for a woman who's not keeping the house together to be feminine, and then on the flip side, when a guy with children, it's a lot easier for the outside guy to come in and be really exciting and take you to all these places when they're not taking care of the family. It's the same thing on both sides. Yeah. Unless you have more resources, if you have more resources, you can swing it.
At the end of the day, all of this falls under the umbrella. Human beings are not monogamous.
Mm-hmm.
It just falls under the umbrella. We can give whatever excuse we want. She was more feminine. This one was edgy. I like him better. He had bigger muscles. No, it's under the umbrella. You're not meant to be with that one motherfucker for the rest of your life, and everything in your being is pushing you towards, right, someone else. Everything and we'll make excuse. No, this one was more feminine. That guy had more money. No, at the end of the day, it falls under human beings are not naturally monogamous. People get mad when they hear that. However, you ask them, have you ever cheated? Has anyone ever cheated on you? Do your relatives cheat? Did your daddy cheat? Did your mama cheat? They all know people their entire lives who have cheated. People are always looking to cheat, whether they're religious, whether they're atheists. It doesn't matter what Catholic, Christian, but it doesn't matter. Like human beings, like other human beings, and we're more animalistic than we like to admit, because we're supposed to be the civilized creatures, right? Though we proved over and over again that we are anything but.
Adam Hearn, I liked a few Dusties in my life. I will admit to that. I have no shame in that. I owe no one anything.
I think we've all done the Dusty thing.
Yeah, you don't get to this age without trying at least one or two.
Yeah. Two for me. All right, guys. So let's get into the topic. Great segue for the topic. Tonight's topic: Tyler Perry sparks debate after sharing his advice for couples who split bills in relationships. Okay, and it's funny because when he was saying it, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna start a fire." And he said it himself. He was like, "I may get in trouble for this. However, I have the bean footage, like Lily said. Let's play it."
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Right, let's play it. And then I also have a young lady who, now a lot of women were responding to this. Her commentary was my favorite. That's why I grabbed hers. So let's see what Tyler said first. That has everybody ready to throw grenades at his home. Here goes Tyler Perry, the billionaire. Let's keep everything, okay, in context.
That ain't over my head.
Okay, here's Tyler Perry, the billionaire.
Listen, a lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black men who are successful, but for the most part, black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job and is a good man and is good to you and honors the house and honors his wife and does what he can because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you.
Yeah.
That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill. As long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage and all the other stuff, you've handled the light bill, baby, you can take me to dinner every now and then. That is fine.
Yeah.
The light bill.
Okay, so the first thing that annoyed me is this: Tyler Perry's a very powerful man, billionaire. So, he needed somebody stronger to be interviewing him, not a yes woman. Yes, yeah.
Who was this
yeah.
woman? Because that was.
I have no idea.
Because I wanted to choke that lady.
I have no idea who that was. I mean, no pushback, no questioning, no elaborate. Can you expound? And yeah. And then I bet when she's just sipping mimosas at Sunday brunch with her girlfriends, she's not agreeing with none of that shit. Okay? I would have gave him a little pushback, Tyler. Just a question.
Mr. Perry.
Just want to throw just a little question. But we're already here on the couch. One little question, right? So that is what he said. Very, very interesting. Before we go there, I want to play the young lady, or would you like to dissect what he said first and then play the young lady? It is up to you.
The young lady.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go to the lady. See what she talking about.
Okay, so at first I was like, kind of sounds harmless, but he said especially black women. I said, oh, you targeting black women. That's different now. All right. Adam Hearn says she sat in her femininity. She sat in her being
stupidity.
a punk ass.
Her stupidity.
She sat in her being a groupie. That's what she
Right.
sat in. She said she was intimidated. It's fucking Tyler Perry on the couch, sat in her femininity. You don't know if that girl pees standing up or not. Be quiet.
Right.
Okay. So here we
They
go.
thought Jeannie Mai was fit, feminine, and friendly. She showed your ass.
Mr. Research, I see you. We're going to need your face, buddy. Listen, if the ladies are up here and we got the rouge going and stuff, all right now. How you doing, sir? All right. Can we get our frame fixed? Do you think you could do that for the block? Can you
Yeah, I'll do that.
Can you do it? Just do this with your screen.
I'll raise the seat.
Thank you. Thank
There you
you. My heart is full this evening. Thank you. Thank you, Episodia. Thank you. It's just, it bothers my eyes. It's weird. Everybody got their weird shit. Okay. Did you hear Tyler Perry's video that I played? Okay, let's play this lady. A lot of women responded. I liked her read. You can tell this woman is very used to reading.
She's been around a few queens.
Yes, this read was legendary, honey. Okay,
I love a good legendary read.
And her name is Jasmine.
You yourself had to cosplay a black woman and pander to white America for 30 fucking years just to become the multimillionaire that you are. What I see right now is a gaslighting page right out of Oprah's book. You're scared because you just got this studio and the writers are on strike that when we come back from all of this shit, black women are no longer going to tune into you because we have healed past the point of accepting this type of bullshit as entertainment. I'm willing to bet your entire net worth that you can't make a movie or a television show without the concept of struggle of somebody got to be on the brink of divorce, somebody mama got to have cancer, somebody has to have a wicked baby mama from fucking hell. What I heard was black women should take care of black men and stop expecting black men to be able to take care of them, which makes perfect sense coming from you because you created Medea to sustain Tyler, did you not? I'd have made it better had you turned around and said, black men, you need to learn how to submit to black women because I'm not going to be the provider and he gets to be the motherfucking lead. He's not leading me into debt. I make enough money for me. But now you telling me I got to feed 2 mouths? If I could afford it without you, I should be able to afford it 2 times over when I get with you. You would think after painting the black community in such a negative light for the last 30 years, you yourself would know that black men are the most insufferable people on the planet when they don't have any fucking fun.
Jeez.
Oh my God. She done been around a few gay guys before to learn how to read like that. That's a legendary read for filth.
Oh my.
Damn.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna pass the mic quickly, but I just want to say this. What I found interesting about what Tyler said, and let's be objective if we can. What I find interesting about what Tyler said was when he said, his gift may not be your gift. I found that curious because I'm like, what gift? You're talking about women who just went to school and are independently able to take care of their own lives. I didn't understand why he called that a gift. He was like, your gift may not be his. The gift of what? The
Paying
gift of
bills?
right. The gift of being self-sufficient. That I didn't get. So he's not capable of that. That's looked at as a gift. I thought that was quite peculiar because he wasn't talking about Whitney Houston dating like a regular guy on the street. She had a gift, right? When he had a gift, the gift of voice, the gift of sound. He's just talking about just women that decided to go to school and make sure they were able to take care of themselves. So I found that strange. His gift may not be the gift you have. I was like, a gift? Is that the bar that we're setting? No. Okay.
Look,
I'm passing the mic.
let me just say a few things. A gift isn't an ability to take care of yourself as an individual in society. Okay, you should be expected to do so. Everyone, man or woman, should be expected to be able to function as a well-paying taxpayer. Okay, I'm not saying that you need to make $100,000 a year or whatever it is. Whatever it is you can actually make that fits into your lifestyle, or you can live below your means to a degree. You can take care of yourself. Then you should be able to do that. That is a well-functioning human being. Now, here is the problem that I have with a lot of brothers. A lot of brothers seek to put themselves in situations where they set themselves up for failure, whether it's having a gang of kids you can't afford, putting yourself in a situation like this, like saying like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just pay the light bill while she's paying all these gang of bills and so on and so forth. And she's basically going to take, subconsciously, you're taking more of a submissive and subordinate role in this home. You're essentially showing up like Stedman, and you want to be able to be treated like Kevin Samuels and shit like that. You got to pick a struggle in these situations, man. Like, look, listen, if you're going to be a potted plant that contributes to a light bill, first of all, you better not miss one motherfucking payment. If all you can contribute to is that, or contribute to a very paltry amount, you better make sure that you do your part. And also, if she's making more than you, understand that after a while, that's going to grow thin. And then she's probably going to be in circles where she's seeing men that make more than you or more capable than you, and so on and so forth. All relationships grow, all relationships hit a wall, and eventually she might bounce on you. With all that being said, the last thing I do want to say is that Black men need to put themselves in a situation where they can just say, where they can tell people, fuck you, man. And we don't do that. You got to put yourself in a situation where you can choose. You can say, I don't want to live this life. I don't want to be around this. I don't want to be around that. And the only way you can do that is through economics. As Black men, we're constantly getting tossed and thrown into the shredder because we don't have the economics to get a lawyer. We don't have the economics to, pull ourselves out of a situation. We don't have the money. So we have to make that a priority if we are to succeed in society to some degree and get the respect.
Haran, what about oppression and slavery and the white man and redlining?
Girl, you already know that shit ain't nothing. That ain't nowhere in my vocabulary. We went over here.
So what my biggest issue was, there was a lot of issues. It was like listening to this Black man lower the standards once again for Black men. It's like, why? Who wins? Like, who wins from that? Like, from that statement, Black men don't win because they're not being challenged, though Black women aren't winning because they're not having the crop of men available to them that they would typically want, right? Because women tend to be naturally feminine to her bag and to her purse and everything like that. Like each time she's pulling out a dick and it's getting bigger and bigger with each bill payment, right? And eventually she gonna smack you upside the head with it. Like it's just that simple, right? Whether she wants to or not, it's just where her natural innate ability is going to just end up sending her like, what the fuck did you just say? Especially if he's not playing this role and playing this position, which is very hard to do as a man, right? To be the house husband and the quiet, I guess, fit, feminine, and friendly house husband.
What say you, No Saint?
Well, to be fair to Tyler Perry, I'm sure he's out of touch. That power bill at his house is probably a couple of grand a month. So, you know, he was probably thinking of that when he said, you know, a light bill, because to most of us, a couple of grand a month. But I digress. I digress. Yeah, it's kind of wild to hear him saying those things. It doesn't really, I don't think it really helps to tell men, you know, tell women to lower their standards of what they want a man, what they expect of a man, and giving men excuses to say, hey, listen, Tyler Perry said I only have to pay the electric bill. You should be good. I'm bringing some good stroke to the relationship. You know, I mean, but yeah, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. I'm gonna let Mr. Research take over.
Always on time. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Women wanted equality. That's what that looks like. Always on time. Go ahead, Mr. Research.
All right, welcome to the uppercut. So first I'll tell you where I agree with. Haran and Lily, I agree. Black men have to be more selfish, self-focused, and raise their standards. To hell with everybody else. We are the stupid ones who are still operating under the kumbaya, we're a team. I keep saying over and over again, this is a cultural thing that people don't understand about us. I'm not part of the rainbow flag. I'm not part of the Jamaican flag. I'm not part of the Cuban flag. I'm not part of the whatever else flag. I am part of this American FBA ADOS situation. I don't have these cultural norms that other flag people take for granted. I can't go into the rainbow flag people telling them to operate like straight people. They have their own cultural thing that they operate, and I can't go in waving my finger saying this should be like this and this should be like that. So what Tyler is saying is, if you want love in this group, not the Jamaican group, not the rainbow, in this group, because one of my favorite CEOs is Idra Nunez. She used to be the CEO for Pepsi. Same thing with Margaret Thatcher, too. Very established women, but in their culture, they don't have to push it in their man face. In their culture, they don't have to belittle their men just because they're the superior in a public eye. My culture does, because my culture doesn't have some of this cultural norms that a Jamaican back-a-bush person takes for granted, or a Cuban person takes for granted, or a Jewish person takes for granted. My culture is very damaged. So when he's having this conversation and we're making fun of how people are not how they should be just because we got our flag, it's because he's having a greater conversation. If you want love and you're doing well, don't look down the nose of somebody who's not. Because see, here's what we're going to end up having. And this goes to Haran's point and Lily's point. Black men here in America were never of the thought process, because I'm doing good, I'm going to look down my nose at my woman. I'm going to belittle my woman. People try to say that happened, but they can never produce a diary or some type of written work to say that women were thinking like that, because they wasn't. So I'm going to end by saying that it's unfortunate when I hear this stuff, because what I'm hearing is people who don't understand how ADOS people work, how ADOS people haven't had the benefit that some of flag people have had. Even being poor, you may have been poor in Jamaica, but you were still more structurally sound culturally than my people who had millions more dollars than you. And that's hard for a lot of people to fathom because they're so, nah, you should be like us. But go ahead.
I have some questions for you.
I have many.
Yeah, I'm like, the fuck? The problem with this statement is women wanted equality. It's so ignorant to me on so many levels. If we're talking equality, then you don't qualify if your woman is making more money. Do you understand that? He literally is talking, Tyler Perry is literally talking about Black women that make more money than Black men. So you don't even qualify for the equality that you're saying women wanted. You follow me? You don't qualify for the equality. If the woman is making more money than you, then you have no say. You got to go and fight for equality because now you've taken the feminine role. You make less. So you're worth less in that relationship financially. So you know, and when we look at the red pills and the manospheres, you do very much sound like women fighting for your rights, right? You want love, you want understanding, you want respect, though you are worth less in the relationship. So you can't even bring up equality for this particular topic because he's literally talking about women that make more. So you're not even equal to those women. So equality doesn't fit in this equation. I don't really understand what you were saying, Mr. Research, about the flags, because there are ADOS people in the LGBTQ community. Like, the LGBTQ community is not some entity that grew.
So weird.
That grew out of nowhere. There are a lot of ADOS in the LGBT community. It's not like they're aliens and it's like, hey, we're a new breed of people. So that part I didn't really understand. And also when you said the belittling, right? I think the issue from what I see, and I've dated Black men, loved Black men, had children with a Black man. A lot of people would say, well, just because you take Black dick doesn't, no, that's exactly why it makes me the authority. If I'm in a relationship with Black men, 13 years, 11 years, 5 years, yes. Okay, I'm summa cum laude graduate. So yes, because I take Black dick, it makes me very, very well versed. Okay, and speaking to Black men and understanding their psyche, being around their families, very much so. Okay, so let's just put that on the side right now. I think the issue from what I see is that when you say, well, the Black men get belittled, I think it's because Black men will not accept, ADOS, if you want to say, that the community that they want to be head of household in is a matriarchy. And I think that's the glitch, to be quite honestly. When you brought up those other communities, of course those women don't have to belittle the men, because I'm sure the men fall in line. They're not throwing their weight and dicks around like, hey, you say what I do, woman. No, if it's a matriarchy, then you must fall second place. And I think that's the issue with Black men in America specifically, that the community they're in, the community, is a matriarchy. And in a matriarchy, you cannot demand to be head of household. And when I say worth less, I don't mean you're worthless. You mean nothing. I mean, literally, you are worth less financially and economically in that home. And therefore, you have to play your position. And I think that a lot of Black men, then they stomp, she need to be feminine. No, you need to be feminine if she is head of household. 1 + 1 = 2. It will always equal 2. Lily, I know you want to say something.
Yes. So at first I wasn't understanding, I wasn't following, but then I realized I've been Black for 42 years. This is shit I've been hearing my whole life, right? I've only identified as trans for 13 years or 15 years or some shit like that, right? So I'm used to, and the word I'm about to use is ignorant, and I mean that in the dictionary sense of just not knowing, right? So I understand that, and that's why I don't get upset by certain statements, because I'm used to it and I understand as being Black, and I was raised Black, and I was raised homophobic, and I was raised, like every other Black person, right? Now, with being a trans person, what a lot of Black people don't understand, or if you refuse to, I guess, accept, that the men that approach me, that are attracted to me, and trans women are identified and are heterosexual men. They're never gay men. Gay men have no attraction to trans women. Why would they? Right? So yes, I only know dating those type of Black men, right? And I, was guilted in, this whole Tyler Perry talk, and I fell for it, right? And I was thinking, oh, this is going right. I was like, oh, this is going to work because I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it. I was okay with being the high earner, and I didn't feel the need to down him. Wasn't even thinking about it. Wasn't even no subtleties of you ain't gonna. Why haven't you? None of that, right? Because I knew what I signed up for. I signed up for it. That's who I chose to be with, right? The problem was he had the problem with it, right? A big problem to the point where it became verbally and emotionally abusive, right? Like it was coming down to like, hey, good morning. You want cheese on your eggs? Oh, you think you all that because you making motherfucking more money? I just wanted to know if you needed some cheese on your eggs, sir. And then that's ultimately what ended that relationship. And I was dumb enough to even try it a couple of times after that, but I saw the signs right away. I was like, oh nope, I know what this looks like. Got to go. And I vowed never to do it again. And now I am that girl that says, girl, I wouldn't do it if I'm you. I'm just saying. But if you want to get your own experience and, and go do what you got to do. So a lot of times what I realize is that a lot of men have a problem with the women being the breadwinner, right? And it'll come out in different ways. You got two type of men. You got the men who are okay with the woman being a breadwinner and want to be well kept, and then you got the ones who say that they're okay with the woman being the breadwinner, but they really aren't. They really aren't.
So
they
then
feel away.
So it goes back to what the young lady was saying in her rant, basically that Black men who earn less are insufferable, right? Like they don't like it, so they act out. And men that make less than women have the knack for going to find another woman that's even making less than them, so they can feel, masculine somewhere, because a man's need to feel masculine is ever present. It's ever present. Abby says, too much emphasis put on money and not on real love. The thing with real love is that it's fleeting. Okay. And it doesn't pay the bills. Real love, fake love, this love, that love, it's fleeting. It's just a feeling. That's why we all have exes. And we've all told those exes what? That we love them. And all those exes have told us that they love us, right? But it didn't pay one fucking bill. So although it sounds nice and it sells Hallmark cards and candies on Valentine's Day, real love, you can't survive on real love. It is literally a feeling. Literally, just a feeling that comes and goes. Can't pay bills with that.
I have a question. Why, and it's particularly the Black men, why is the concept of love so much more important than respect? And there do I say fear? Because respect and fear is far more pragmatically effective than love. A lot of times, again, like I said, someone can love you, but they don't respect you. And I just often see Black men constantly going overboard to be loved. And when you're doing that, that's a huge sign of insecurity. It's a huge sign of insecurity.
Oh, I know someone personally, Haran.
Literally have a hole in your fucking soul if you're constantly going out your way to be loved, to be accepted, to be wanted, and so on and so forth. I don't know. I do want to say one thing, though, with the woman who read Tyler Perry. It's really funny, once you say something that Black women don't like, they'll tell you everything you are and you ain't. They brought up that dress. They brought up that I thought y'all liked the dress. I thought he was being creative. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you brought up the dress. This motherfucker don't understand. He was perpetuating all kinds of, stereotypes to the white hierarchy. I'm like, oh shit, really? Oh, now he's doing that. Oh, okay. I just wanted to put that out there.
Don't you think that men that don't have a lot, because this is my experience, don't you think that men that don't have a lot of self-determinism focus on love? I've never met a man that was hecho y derecho about his business. Doesn't even have to be wealthy. Just a guy that believes if I don't work, I don't eat. Just a regular man. I noticed that the men that are low earners, don't have a lot of self-determinism, aren't hyper masculine or masculine. They concentrate on that love shit a lot, right? Like, you can't leave me out here. Yeah, I'm fending for myself. I just need a woman by my side. I need somebody to love me. But if that same man was wealthy, okay, he'd be out in Vegas cutting through holes. You know it and I know it. You know and I know it.
Let me jump just a minute, Saint. So, because I got 3 people I got to address. So, I wrote down a couple of things, and shout out to the chat. I guess a good 40% of you guys agree with what I'm saying. I think the people on the panel are very literal in what they're focusing on. They're looking at things.
Mr. Research looking for backup on this night. Go ahead. I see you. I see you.
I'm boxing 3 people. I can do it. It ain't a problem.
So right ahead, brother.
So here's the thing in everything that was said, and I wrote down a couple of quick notes. I'll speed through it. I think just like what Jen was talking, everything is so literal. We're not talking literal. This is a culture that many people don't understand, and I can hear that you don't understand in some of your retorts. Just like with Lily, that's very obtuse. We don't talk about the anecdotal and the ancillary when we're talking about something nationwide. What happened on Wawa Street is totally different from a nationwide perception when we on these grandiose conversations. So I'll say this about the L community, and somebody in the chat room said it too. Some people put the flag of L above black. That's what I mean. And she didn't address, or she didn't address that at all. The people in the chat room caught it. That's the flag I'm talking about. Putting that above. And then when...
Wait, really quickly, what comment was that? I'm just curious. What comment was that? Do you remember?
I'll scroll to get it, but let me get through these notes real quick. So I'll scroll to get the comment. It was from somebody in there who said they put that before black. So that's one concept we're not hearing because we're in the echo chamber thought process of, hey, I'm black, but are we black under pressure? So sometimes what has happened, and I got gay cousins and L cousins and whatever the case may be. When certain people are betrayed by the Latin L, they come back to black. When certain people are betrayed by the Jamaican L, they come back to black. Betrayed by the white L, they come back to black. But on that day, they had an opportunity to just go with what was right. Let's say the straight person was right. No, some people just bond with the L. That's what I mean by flag mentality. Let me speed through this other thing because there was a couple of people who made a point. I'm still going to agree with Haran on the black men need to, because see, Haran, when I was growing up, being as stand in my own truth that you wanted me to be, the community hated that. That's what you're not understanding. The community hated that. They hated dudes like that. The uncles and the grandfathers hated dudes like that because their understanding was everything was supposed to be love and kumbaya. Everything was supposed to be, well, you gotta, even when we were on top and they were not. And see, that's something Jen leaves out, that historical fact. When we was on top and they was going to typewriter school, hoping to get a job, we would go to, hey, Mr. Saint, I know I'm the janitor, but my cousin Lily, she type real good. Can she possibly interview? We was doing that. So now what you're seeing is him, Tyler Perry, talking about the remnants of that. And see, I understand. Last 30 seconds. I understand because the people who are criticizing it don't get it. You got a flag. You got something. You don't understand the cultural damage and what we're trying to cling on to. 1990 matriarch, I do agree with Jen. We had a 1990 matriarch uprising. When we had on-the-job training, maybe Mr. Haran can speak to that. When we had an on-the-job training and there was no need for degrees, we tried to pull our women in. We created the first National Black Economics Women Convention. Not black women. Black men created that for black women. But see, this stuff gets swept under the rug. So I understand this comes from a obtuse lack of understanding this damaged culture because, man, I wish I had a flag. I wish I had a second and third language so I could sit up here and wave my finger and lecture people. Shout out to y'all. Go ahead, Mr. Saint. Sorry for the delay.
No, hold on. No, Saint, really quickly. It sounds like you're obtuse as well. because I heard a lot of we used to, what we did. And that makes it even more pathetic that something you quote unquote put Black women in position for, they literally ran you over, succeeded past you, and blew up past you, and now you're left behind. So it's kind of like when I heard today, matter of fact, Kelly Rowland was saying, I was the first one that did an EDM song. Nobody did it before. And here's the thing, then Rihanna did it and blew up, and nobody even knew you did an EDM song. Then Chris Brown did it and blew up, and nobody even knew you did an EDM song. And the list goes on and on and on. So what difference does it make? Well, we're the ones that we fought for Black women, and then what happened? They crushed you. I think that makes it all the worse, right? That makes it all the worse. So it sounds again like, well, because of slavery, because this, because that. And then you're sitting watching a man like Tyler Perry, who has the same Black history in America, and he's sitting there a whole fucking billionaire, making excuses for y'all. Literally telling women, okay, hey, be softer on those guys. They're never gonna live up to what you are. So if you want to get laid, let the guy pay the light bill. It's again the infantilization of Black men, and you are not embarrassed by that. You're still saying, yeah, but back in 1910, we fought for them to vote. It's still, but it doesn't matter what happened back then. And you may say it's obtuse, but I'm in 2023. What are you doing now? What are you worth now? And why are you not doing it? Why are you not doing it in 2023? It doesn't matter what happened back then. You weren't even alive back then. So that's even worse. That's like me saying, well, I don't work because back in Puerto Rico, with the flag and all, I don't work because back in Puerto Rico, the white man came in and he wiped out all the Tainos. And had it not been for that, I would have been a billionaire too. But those Tainos almost got wiped out, and I'm part Taina. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like scapegoating, excuses. It sounds like you have no self-determinism. And again, it sounds like you are treating Black men like children. That's what I hear. So I'll pass the mic.
I was going to respond.
I just want to say one thing, just a real quick rebuttal. Let's just use the L flag, that statement that he just said. He said something along the lines of, "Are we Black under pressure?" Now, the flip side of that can be a bigger thing, because with what we have to understand is, with a lot of people outside of that space who are homosexuals and so on and so forth, the reason why they might be putting the flag above Blackness is because that space accepts them quicker than the Black space. Now, here's the bigger question. Well, am I Black when I don't adhere to the traditions of Blackness, such as atheism, homosexuality, etc.? Or am I only Black when I only adhere to your definition of Blackness?
Haran, why did you take? Okay, well, I'm gonna add on.
Now you said you went on a few seconds after that. You went on to say that you were standing in your truth as a youth. I can see that you are a man of intellect. You are a Black person of intellect, and we can both agree that anti-intellectualism is a very strong component in Black culture. So I'm very sure that there were moments when you had to some degree, put forth your Blackness and fight for your Black card, because that was questioned. And traditionally, a Black man of intellect isn't necessarily respected. Ironically, it's more respected amongst white constituents. Now, I will also close this with saying, I completely understand what you're saying. I understand the nuances and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? I constantly say these things when I discuss Blacks in America, because I've said constantly how slavery was explained and how they omit certain things from the explanation. Certain people are just learning about Black Wall Street, just learning about Rosewood. These things are not mentioned in the history books in schools for a reason. They have these curriculums for a reason. I actually fought for these things while I was in high school. You know what I mean? I've done a lot for the community. I've given my money to organizations to ensure that young Black people actually, strive in STEM. I've been on boards, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to sit here and conflate about my resume and so on and so forth. But what I'm saying here is this. At the end of the day, what you're saying, you want these people to put their blackness above the flag. But guess what? Black people need to sit down and start understanding and being more open to other people who are a part of the Black experience. And I'm gonna pass the mic on that.
That was
So
absolutely beautiful. Go ahead, Lena.
Well, my point was in that realm, and I wanted to add to that because it's so ironic. This is like, I love these conversations. I truly do, because they're very educational, right? And the Black community definitely does need education in this, because these are the same talking points I've been hearing for 42 years, right? But the reason why I left out that, because if you look at any interview I've ever done, if you go back and watch this show and everything like that, I've been very consistent. That me personally, I don't even like to identify as trans or anything like all of that shit, right? Because I feel like it's a distraction. I feel like it is counterproductive, right? Because it gives people ammunition in conversations like this, right? Because I am Black first, whether I like it or not. I'm Black first, right? And I love being Black. The issue is, growing up Black, and I grew up as feminine as a male before I transitioned, right? I was obviously feminine, right? And to Haran's point, that made me anti-Black just because I existed, okay? So, and you just proved that point, because you made that more of an issue than I did, right? I never make that an issue. I never bring it up. I just live as a human. But Black people tend to be very obsessed over it. Obsessed. Perfect example. I can't tell you how many times I'm walking down the street thinking about what I'm going to cook for dinner, or, did I leave the oven on or whatever, right? And I get like a negative slur, no matter what neighborhood I'm in, no matter what city or state I'm in, right? And it's usually a Black male. Now they're thinking about me. I'm not thinking about them. They're thinking about me being trans. I'm not thinking about them at all, right? So these are the reasons why I don't bring it up, because to me that has nothing to do with the conversation. I was only speaking from my experience dating Black men and having something to compare it to, right? When I was doing the Tyler Perry thing versus when I wasn't doing the Tyler Perry thing. What happened in both situations? And that's all I can come from. But I wouldn't add in, no, I don't fly a flag. I don't care about the flag, but I do know that Black people care about it more than I do.
Those are some great points, because I do think I think it's ignorant. I see the comment. Now I agree. Once they gay, they know Black no more, right? Everybody's sucking Paul Mooney, right? They're just flipping what Paul Mooney said about Puerto Ricans, whatever, or what Godfrey said. But I want to know where that statement comes from. Mr. Research, you mentioned it, right? Where does that statement come from? What gives you the right, or why do you think that Black people, if they're gay, they're saying goodbye to their Blackness when they have to live, breathe, and eat and be Black 24 hours a day until they die? What makes you think that because they're gay, they're giving up their Blackness, or their Blackness doesn't exist? I find that very, very interesting. Like, how did you come to that? How did you come to that conclusion?
And is that only openly gay? Because I see that the problem is people who are openly gay and honest. As long as they're hiding, it's okay, because they'll have the same conversation with their homeboy that's DL and getting his back blown out by their other homeboy, right? And it's okay as long as he just continues to lie. But the moment he tells the truth, it's no longer okay. So which one is it?
So, Mr. Saint, I'll go after you. I wrote all of their points down. I know you've been waiting.
No, listen, this is obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm on the outside looking in on a lot of this. But, what Jen said made me think about my own situation. And I know it's not same, but when she was talking about we're in 2023, and then I started thinking, she's got a point, because if I was, and she, that combined with her saying that men that don't have a job, love is the most important thing. Cause I was there at one time when I was a really young guy, right? I was like, why can't she just love me for me? Yes, I'm working at Pizza Hut delivering pizzas, and she makes more than me, but why can't she just love me for me? So, yeah, that is something that someone who doesn't have something going for him would say. On top of that, I think there's no woman in 2023, if I was not in a situation I was in and I was bringing up, well, you don't understand, when my grandfather was around, we fought for you to get equal rights and to get jobs, and now you're leaving me, or now you're not interested in me because you're making more money than me. I mean, nobody's wanting to hear that excuse. Like, it's harder today for me because the blue collar jobs have left America, and they make excuses and excuses, right? So nobody's listened. I understand, Mr. Research, where you're coming from. You have a lot of, I mean, it's great for for people that want to listen, but people, men maybe and women aren't going to hear that. They don't really care because they're living in today with today's real problems. But that's all I wanted to say.
And you make a good point. No Saint. They don't want to hear it. So if you're a person stating for your culture what's going on within your culture, like Tyler Perry, here come 3 people saying, "Shut the hell up. We don't want to hear it." Who's attacking who? Is he speaking to his culture and his demographic, or outside people trying to lecture and tell him what he should and should not be saying? The same thing when it comes to what Lily and Jen are talking about. They keep talking about ancillary and anecdotal information. I'm talking nationwide. I'm not talking about who you dated, any of those things. I went to college with some great L people who don't even operate, who do make it black first. So where did I get it from? Other L people who have those honest conversations that I've had when I was going to Georgia State, who have those honest conversations as my cousin have had. There are L people who told me, oh no, these people will do XYZ before. There's a famous, I forget his name, so why am I even saying it's famous? But there's a guy over in San Francisco. He started the whole clubs because the L people during his time were weaponizing his skin against him and didn't want him part of those L clubs. This is something been going on for long. So I wish Lily would expand out of the I, me, and get into the collective of what I'm saying. Those demographics are showing evidence, and I'll try to pull up the guy's story just to show evidence of what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by obtuse. As long as we keep saying me, I, you'll never understand what I'm talking about. Lastly, we go over to what Haran keeps saying. Yes, Haran, it's a new age after Obama. Making money is the thing. And you and Jen keep saying, don't talk about the past. All I'm trying to do is get you to understand is we are a damaged culture trying to figure it out, like you people who got flags. We are and you're saying you're not moving fast enough. Go make some money. And I'm telling you, Ronald Reagan policy traumatized a lot of people. Clinton policy traumatized. And you're saying, shut the hell up. You in 2023, forget what you've been through. I understand we should move faster according to you, because you have your flags and your culture already defined. And I understand you feel we're not moving fast enough, and we're dumb. We're making money, so therefore we're winning. It takes us a while to realize that making money is more important than what the Black Panthers taught us. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're not like y'all. I'm being a little condescending because I got to defend my people against some of the stuff y'all saying. We're sorry we're not like y'all. We're sorry we're not moving fast enough. But the person you dated has nothing to do with the collective. And then what was said? What was said? Equality. I totally agree. You got to understand. Again, it's the black man's fault. The black man taught his sons to be kumbaya. And that's not what happened. And you're absolutely right. Women came, took the ball, and said, "To hell with the black man. He's below me." I get it. I work in a lady-dominated industry. I understand. It's easy for them to get money compared to the warehouse brother or the brother working with his hands. All I'm asking you in the last 10 seconds is, when we have this conversation, expand past me, I. and then you'll kind of understand it a little bit better. We unfortunately are not moving as fast as you guys want us to move because we're kind of like the Slavics. We're kind of like the Gypsies. It takes us a while to get to the level of you guys. Even though we got money, we are culturally damaged. I talked to some people yesterday, got a lot of money, ain't been on a plane in the past 10 years. Some of you international blacks do that every week, every month. The guys who are domestic and regional, man, I ain't worried about that. We got to get like y'all. So I understand y'all feel like you ain't moving fast enough. You low-class Black Americans, y'all making money. All I'm saying is think about it beyond your scope of your house in your city and think about what we're looking at nationwide. Go ahead, Jen, you got it.
Okay, so let me say this. I think that you're not looking beyond your scope and the gay people that you talk to and the Black people that you talk to. You want us to look beyond our scope, but you refuse to look beyond yours, okay? So it's not about the people that I dated. It seems like you want to have the only voice of the Black community. I played a Black woman who Tyler Perry targeted, okay? So you're telling me that she doesn't have a right to respond to a Black man that's addressing her because she doesn't fit in the demographic of gay people or Black people that you know. I say here all the time, there are two demographics of Black people. Forget my flag, because you are stuck on a flag. You are stuck on a flag. You can have a flag if you want. It is your choice. You choosing not to get a flag. The LGBTQ got a flag, right? They weren't given that flag.
I don't use the shit.
Right? But here's my thing. It sounds to me like you don't have an issue with echo chambers per se. You just like your echo chamber, right? So forget what we've experienced. Forget Lili's experience. I, me. And yet you're sitting there doing the same thing. Well, my gay cousin said, and when I went to college, the gay people I knew and the Black people I know over here, they're the authority. And no, it's bullshit. Like, we're not moving fast enough. You're in America. We have Black millionaires and billionaires here. So Black men are moving quickly just fine. And every day there's a new millionaire. But I think what you're trying to do is mix that demographic of low earners, people that have no self-determinism, the woe is me, slavery happened, the woe is me, look what Reagan did to us, and you're mixing them with the elite of the Black community, right? And even the Black community, those people will be like, we're not mixing with y'all. But here's the thing, it is okay that you have little self-determinism. It's okay that you're blaming slavery. It's okay that you're blaming the white man. It's okay, but don't try to mix oil and water. You do not belong over there, and that's okay. I say that about even the people that wave this flag. I say that about every race and ethnicity. There are the go-getters, okay? The people that bout it. Then there are the motherfuckers that complain. I'm Puerto Rican. If I wasn't born Puerto Rican, I'd be rich now. Yeah, and we wave the same flag. However, their experience doesn't encompass the whole community or vice versa. But it sounds to me like you want, the slavery and Reaganomics and this, that, and the third. And yes, that very much applies to the low-earning, low-determined Black community, very much so. So I'm telling you, expand out of those couple gay cousins that you got, out of the few Black people that you met in college or whatever, because we're all in our 40s here, pushing 50s. So we've met a myriad of people. We are related to them. We've married them. We love them. We have children with them. So your world isn't the only one that exists. Your world is this big in comparison. So you think beyond your scope. I don't know why you stuck on the flags. You can get a flag if you like. Anybody can get a flag if they like. I don't know why you stuck on the flags, but that's what I have to say about that. It goes beyond you. So you can't tell Lili, your world, me, and I don't want to speak for Lili. I'm just saying in general, because I know a lot of people in the LGBTQ community, but you can't say that she has an isolated way of living when a lot of gay people I know think just like Lili. So it is beyond me when it comes to her. I know a lot of gay people that think just like that, exactly like that. So it's not just about one individual. And again, I'll end on this. That woman that responded to Tyler Perry is Black. Who do you think you are that you're saying, she should think beyond her scope? He targeted Black women. A Black woman responded. Are you telling me that she's rushing Black people? That she shouldn't have a say because she's not thinking beyond her scope of all the Black men who have no self-determinism? She should accept that Black men don't want to earn less than Black women. She has a voice. She's a Black woman. Take me out of it. Take me out of it and the Black men I've dated. That's a Black woman I put on the screen.
What do you say in terms of the Black conservatives who claim that Black people do have a flag in America? It's called the American flag because by proxy, you were born in America.
So you're talking to a longtime conservative. I'm an Edmund Burke conservative. I'm not a Reaganite. I'm not a new conservative.
You sure you're not a liberal?
No, not at all.
No. I understand the difference between, but what I'm asking him particularly is what are his thoughts about the Black conservatives who actually do.
So I have talked to the Brandon Tatums personally on panels. I have talked to the I forgot what the other guy's name is. Black conservative is a Nigerian guy posing as a Black American. His parents are from Nigeria. So I've had in-depth conversations with these people. I'm actually going to do a thing on my channel about the Black conservative thing on Jubilee. My answer to you, Haran, is many of these people are taught to say certain talking points. And when you get them on a panel like me, a longtime conservative, since the days that Eazy-E had dinner with 41, I ask them detailed information and they can't articulate because they're only going off what they've been told. So what I say to them is, you're not really a conservative. You're just a person who's been told what to say. You don't know how that created. You don't know policy. You don't know none of that. The other person is the Democrat who's so frustrated that he want to be a Republican. He don't have no information too. I told somebody Reagan used to be a Democrat. He argued me down, and then other people had to tell him, no, that's actually true. Those are the conservatives that you're talking about. The people who claim that they conservative but can't articulate nothing conservative because they don't know it. They're just going off what they was told. My other thing that I'll address for Saint get in is
I just want to put one more thing in there.
Hey, rock out.
Just another scenario. Is this why can we not consider that for a moment? Maybe Black women are pretty much impatient with the speed of which the culture is moving.
Look,
maybe they're tired of wait 1 second. Maybe they're tired of waiting, such to the point where they're divesting in greater numbers. You know what I mean? And because at the end of the day, if you look at it from a human perspective, people respect results. And regardless of what whites have done to them and us, they do represent a certain space in the social hierarchy. And by dealing with them and spawning with them, yes, it does affect their social standing. So maybe they're tired of the speed. They don't want to wait around for this to come to fruition. They want to move forward and live a better life in the now. What would you say to that?
So you're absolutely right about they should transcend. But I want to correct one thing because it's amazing when people say this stuff. White guys are not marrying at a high rate. They're only 4%. It's been like that for 50 years. They refuse to get marriage certificates. They date, they have babies with Black women, but they are not increasing the marriage numbers at all, according to the marriage certificates filed by the Department of Justice. That's not me making that up. That's the Department of Justice telling Haran, no, you're incorrect. They are not changing nothing because the white guys are not serious. Now, the white guys in England and Germany, yeah, they're marrying Black women because they don't have that race concept. So many a times I'll meet couples and then you find out, oh, her husband's really not American. He's Austrian. Oh, well, see, like here go a white guy. He's from Canada. So these white Americans are not increasing those numbers. So that's the one thing I want to correct. I agree with you for the third time, Haran, you and Jen. We despicable, terrible Black American men need to do what C-Lay does, be managers and owners. We need to say to hell with that kumbaya stuff, hire our sons and nephews, and be very patriarch and dirty and severe about it, because that's the only thing that's going to stop this conversation.
What are we willing to do, though?
Let me finish. Kumbaya, like I said on another panel, is not going to work because to your credit on what you both are saying, as Black men, you're still trying to get women in line. That's stupid. You're still trying to be kumbaya. That's dumb. They're not. They got on Ice Cube and told him and cursed him out. Stacey Abrams cursed out, or not cursed out, but shaded and belittled Black men publicly, even though they were the second highest to vote for her. She had no smoke for the white woman who voted for her third. CNN and MSNBC quote, black men need to shut up and get behind the black woman. We would never say stuff like that, Haran, on no public platform against black women like that. Do we say it on an urban street level? Yeah, you're right. Everybody says stuff. So I just want to address you on that. Let me move to the thing that I was going to say while I got a little bit of time. So once again, I agree. Black men need to elevate. We need to be owners, managers, and focus on our sons and nephews. There's not going to be no kumbaya. Not that I don't want it to be, but there's not going to be no kumbaya love moment. As it relates to this title with Tyler was talking about our culture, and he was talking about from a cultural standpoint. People who are not all the way into what we've been through to this point. How dare you talk about your pain? You damn idiots. Whoever, when we can't express that, then we get pigeonholed into shut up and dribble. I want to advance the conversation beyond this point because we've been stuck here just a little bit. Yes, in agreement, yes. We should, as black men, be more focused in a more patriarch thing. To Jen's credit, we're very matriarch. And those guys in the hood, listen, I'm talking to you. You want to kill dudes who are not matriarch. You want to hurt dudes who are trying to get educated. You want to try to fist fight dudes on behalf of women. To Jen's point, you are matriarch. I'm not saying because I hate you, brothers. I want you brothers to change because you see the demographic that we're dealing with is saying we're not going to wait. We're international now that Obama has fixed all of the problems Dick Cheney put upon the country. We're very international now. So as black men, I say this to you. I'm not trying to push back against them just to push back. I'm trying to get common ground. The common ground is, brothers, we need to focus on our sons and nephews. It is the time to stop talking about dating, stop talking about relationship woes, stop caring about what women are doing, and be the patriarch a-holes that everybody claims that you are, and focus on you, your nephew, and your son. Go ahead, Saint.
The melodrama.
I love it.
The melodrama. No, Saint, what say you?
I don't know if I can add anything to
That's fine. That's fine.
No, I'm listening. Yeah, I just let you guys keep going.
This is not I just want to say one thing. This is not a shut up and dribble argument. This is a, grab your fucking nuts and grab the goddamn podium that you helped to fucking build argument. That's the stance that I came from.
That's what my daddy says.
You helped to build this fucking shit and you're still allowing them to tell you how this shit go. No. You should have a say in in where immigration goes. You should have a say where a lot of fucking thing goes. Because yes, you did help build this motherfucking country, but you have allowed yourself to be a second-class citizen. You have allowed these women to tell you to shut the fuck up.
I just always am so glad I came up in the family that I came up in. Because I never heard these talking points like this. Like, I came from a great-grandmother who was so fucking proud. This woman took her last breath when she got ready to at 101, right? And I'm so glad I came from her lineage and my father's lineage, and and I'm just so glad because we never heard these things like, we were this and the reason why, like never, ever. Like they didn't give a fuck about white people at all. They did not think that they were important, right? They didn't care, right? And because of that, and mind you, my both sides of my family, my mother's side, my father's side, came up in the worst part of DC, all of them. And they all were able to come out of that, right? And then they were able to come up out of that and put us in better neighborhoods, but we didn't really have no money like that. So I grew up poor, right? So I grew up poor. So I always think about that, the long list of plausible excuses that I have that I can pick from at any given time to not be successful, to not succeed. I think about that all the time because it should be looking tempting, right?
Lily, you didn't trip over Reaganomics?
I tried to. The shit be tempting, I'm telling you. But because of the family that I came up in, they not having that shit. Like they don't care about your oppression and you're trans and you're black. They don't give a fuck. And so because of that, you know, I've gotten things, I've lost everything. I became a part of a statistic. I went to prison. I got out of prison, didn't even have no fucking underwear. Okay. But because of the way I was raised and stuff like that, I just didn't think like that. I was like, get your shit together. And because I didn't have my shit together, the last thing I was thinking about was a damn relationship. That was the last thing that I was thinking about because I knew I wasn't even qualified to participate in a healthy relationship. I didn't have shit. So for the life of me, I don't understand when people who don't have shit are so hell-bent and focused on relationships. That is not all black men. I'm talking about the black men who don't have shit. They be the main ones having these arguments and these conversations because the ones of certain means, they don't be having these conversations unless they work like we do, but typically they don't. So that's why I'm usually confused about a lot of this stuff.
So Tyler Perry said because of course I couldn't get the whole damn show. I could only get like a snippet, but he did say, first he said, women, and then he said, especially black women, right? He said women, and he said, especially black women. I do have a question though, right? Cause I call cap. I call a lot of cap. I also call a certain amount of insanity. I think that this quote unquote plight of, oh, woe is us in America. Look what they done did to us. I think it's cap. I think it's almost a hobby at this point, right? Because black women have already proved that they can overcome Reaganomics. They can overcome the white man. They can overcome oppression. Black women already proved that. So it makes the argument that black men are making even more stupid. Right? Because it's not like both of them are at the same, if both of them are, it's like, oh shit, like there's evidence on, in both genders, this shit is real out here, oppression is real. But I think black men are just mad that black women have surpassed them. So they need all these excuses. They just want us to shut up and dribble. We're not moving fast enough. Well, riddle me this, Batmans. What did black women do that black men aren't capable of doing? That's my question. If black women are out-earning black men and now, according to Mr. Research, are rushing the black degenerates, the black men that don't know how to get it, the black men that are looking for love, right? If black women surpass them, I'm just really, really curious. Did they eat a certain diet? Do they subscribe to a certain religion? Do they live closer to universities? Like, I really want to know, because this is how silly it sounds to me. What do black women do differently that black men are incapable of doing? What is that thing? I really want to know, why are black women surpassing black men? And also, like, going back to every race and ethnicity or whatever, every race and ethnicity has an underbelly. Every race and ethnicity has low income, low determined, of every community, black, white, yellow, black, Puerto Rican. It seems that black people are always like, no, we got to lift up these. And that demographic is that demographic for a reason. And they're going to stay that way for a reason, because people that want shit go out and get it. People that don't. I got people like that in my family. We got the go-getters in my family, and we got the ones that are like, I don't got to try that hard. Plus, look how hard it is out here, right? Am I telling them to shut up and dribble, or am I accepting that is who and how you are? But for some reason, there's this hobby in the black community that we must uplift these people that have no idea how to get it in America. Though they've been born and raised here, speaking the language from birth, okay, they're still treating them like children who were snatched from another country and dropped here. And they have no idea how to apply for a school or get a job. They say, oh my God, how we gonna work? Like, I don't understand it. And then on top of that, you have their female counterparts surpassing them. So it seems to me that the problem is them. It's nobody else. It's not people telling them to hurry up. It's not women who want to divest. It's not women who are more educated. The problem is literally them. Why are we in denial? The problem is literally them. 2 kids could be born into the same family. One will excel. The other one won't, under the same conditions. So if the smarter kid is like, you really need to get your shit together, is the other kid going to be like, you rushing me? Quite naturally, the smarter kid that made the better decision is going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm rushing you. We grew up under the same home, right? Can we just accept that some people are fuck-ups or complacent or complicit or comfortable? And that's not a bad thing. Being comfortable is not a bad thing. You just, you're that type of person. And it's like, I'm comfortable working, retiring, getting my 401k, pushing out a couple kids and dying. Put me in a box. But I don't think that Black women should be blamed for that. And I still would like the answer. Anybody in the chat? Anybody on the panel? Do tell me what position and opportunity the Black women have that put them in a position to surpass Black men. I just want to know how their lives were different.
Okay, so, and I know Lily got to speak, but let me say it directly. Some of the stuff you're saying, I didn't say verbatim. You're kind of mixing and conflating, but that's neither here nor there.
No, but wait. Let me interrupt you real quick. You do the exact same thing. You say that we say shut up and dribble. You say that we say we're rushing Black men. You do the exact same thing, Mr. Research. The exact same thing. You conflate as well. You put words in our mouths. You're very melodramatic and you exaggerate our points. Okay, you exaggerate our points. Okay, no one said shut up and dribble. Matter of fact, a white woman said that to a Black man. I've never heard a Black person say or a Latin person say, just shut up and dribble. I don't know why you stuck on that statement, but that was a white woman speaking to a Black man.
Well, like I said, we'll let the audience decide. I'm not trying to beef with the panel. These are just different ways of thinking. The panel thinks what they think from the situation that they have. Sometimes when we look at the EEOC, they have the highest rate for Black men. So this is the answer to your question. And take all of what I'm saying, not just bits and pieces. So they have the highest rate for Black men. I have 5 certifications. Normally I don't do anecdotals, but I have 5 certifications. I've been told 3 times in my career I'm too dark skinned to be in the front. Some of you people who don't have this dark skin will never go through that, but you'll lecture me on how you should get over it. And for a lot of brothers, that's traumatizing when they trying to elevate and trying to ascend. For a lot of brothers, that's irreparable. Now, you can lecture them and say, to hell with you, I'm light-skinned and I don't have those problems. And then it becomes a funny conversation at that point. The other part of your answer is Black men spent a lot of times, as I said earlier, which you avoided, is that we culturally were helping women get into areas when they were not getting into those areas. So many of those dudes had the mindset of help, and you would get that in return. That changed in 1990. And lastly, if me and No Saint bonded like they do in England, if me and Haran bonded like they do in Germany, and it was just a man help man mentality, I'm gonna help the Latin man before I help the Black woman. I'm gonna help the white Jewish man before I help the Black woman. We would be publicly demolished for doing that. So your answer is, in 1990, women turned to the Latin woman and said, you're more important. Women turned to, and I'm not saying in a great mass, I'm saying as it relates to what we came out of under on-the-job training, 1970, 1980, with Black men. You're overlooking these historical policy changes that change culture. You're only focused on the money. That's your end goal. We have a cultural dynamic that had us interlocked. The same way some of these white folks, shout out to Haran and No Saint for bringing it up, with unions. The non-union people, it took them a while to really get into this temp job contractor concept. The non-union people, it culturally took them a while to transition that those union jobs will never come back. And Al Gore lied when he said, we'll retrain you. Ain't that what he said, No Saint? We'll retrain you. But see, Jen leaves that out because that doesn't fit what she thinks should be concerning. Some of these Americans, and I'm laying here, some of these Americans are culturally damaged from certain things that happen. A person who has more of their traditions, let's not call it flag, more of their traditions intact, have less of that to deal with because they're dealing with cultural dynamics that put them together. It doesn't matter whether you believe I'm right or wrong. We'll let the audience decide and we'll let the replay decide. But I'm not pushing against you guys. I'm just defending that, unfortunately, my culture, it takes us a while when we're told, hey, you're too dark-skinned to be in the front. Even though we're more
okay, let's not be long-winded because we're towards the end. Respectfully, we're towards the end, so let's not be long-winded. My thing is this: you want what you're saying to be the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It is not. That's my point. Now, we're all just sharing ideas here. Nobody's fighting or arguing. This is a great debate. But that's what I see from you. You want your Black experience to be the only Black experience that exists. There are Black millionaires and billionaires. There are Black men that would look at you and laugh at what you're saying. Is he really still bringing up Reaganomics and oppression and redlining? There are Black men. I know them personally. Another thing is telling someone dark skin, oh, you shouldn't be at the front. Can we both agree that there are dark-skinned men that have been told that and said, fuck you, I'm getting mine? I know some personally, so I know it's true. Yeah, you can tell a dark-skinned person, you shouldn't be here. They've said that to Black women. No one still has answered my question. Why is it that Black women, with all that adversity, with the world telling them you're not attractive, you're too dark, your nose is too big, your hair is too kinky, why have they still managed to surpass Black men? Nobody's answering that. We go back to Reagan and the redlining and this. No one is answering that because because Black women and Black men both live in the same world. Black women are making you look worse and worse and worse, okay? The better and better they get. Why? Because they have the same dark skin. They have the same people telling them, you can't make it, you shouldn't be in the front, and yet they still surpass you. Black men have to accept you live in a matriarchy and you don't deserve submission. That's a conversation you don't want to have. And if you want to wear the skirt, then play your position. It's very simple. There are matriarchy communities all over the world. Play your position, but don't play the violin. I can't make it out here. I'm dark skinned. And I have like 5 dark skinned men in my fucking phone contacts that are killing the game out here. And they've been told you're too dark, but you want you're too dark to be the reason why some men can't excel. And it's bullshit.
You're back to money again.
Who said anything about money? Who said anything about money? Who said anything about money?
Listen,
that's a part of it. That's a part of it. You do need money to survive, right? You got to pay rent, right? You got to buy groceries, right? You got to raise children.
I'm talking.
Well, no, you got to pay the light bill.
I'm talking culturally.
Or the light bill.
I'm talking culturally. And you keep coming back to money. You keep coming back to success.
Let me come in here and explain this. Okay. To Mr. Researcher's point to some degree. Okay, now look, the idea of, I can understand, sir, if you weren't able to be in client-facing situations because of your skin. Well, in corporate America, there's a lot of dark-skinned Black women who can't be in client-facing situations because of
trans Black women couldn't work, period.
And that's another half of it. So, but we also have to.
Before we continue, I was talking about trauma. I wasn't talking about just the skin. I'm talking about the trauma of the.
I understand what you're saying.
Guys. Okay.
I understand what you're saying so far. I just want to wrap it up because we don't have much time left. Now, if we are to understand the landscape right now, Black men for decades, 4 decades, we work has been synonymous with physical prowess, whether it be blue collar work in any degree, mechanics, so on and so forth. You know, whatever it is, construction. Most of the time, we have equated that to blue collar work. In this landscape, physical prowess isn't necessarily just as needed, or we need to expand our ideas. Black women, one of the main reasons why, they are progressing is because they went to school. They're going through school. They're getting degrees. They're getting trained in particular, fields that requires a degree of intellectual prowess.
The dark skinned ones too that are traumatized. The dark skinned ones too that are traumatized. They're also going to school.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Now we must also consider that in this particular avenue, again, intellectual prowess and intellectual capital matters. We don't have these kinds of conversations amongst ourselves as Black men. We have to expand. We have to think bigger than just, blue collar work. Not saying that we shouldn't, but there are other avenues that we can actually take. Now, for instance, we don't often discuss about how Obama had his, tech hire initiative, back in the day when he was actually in office, and underneath it was, computer science for all. But underneath that, he really wanted Black people to get involved in technology. He really wanted Black people to be competitive in this age that we have right now. We don't often talk about the fact that Google and Apple actually waived the idea of having a college degree, and they also handed out grants to minorities, Black women, and other minorities, and so on and so forth. So there were avenues given to us, and we have not we do not speak about these things that could have helped put us in a better situation. We're constantly discussing and talking about a world and an age that really isn't practical in this particular landscape. I'll end my point on that.
Really quickly, I just want to get to the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Fahim Jackson says, Jen, Black women don't do anything different. Single mother raised boys where girls are told to go get it and we're coddled. It is why I moved to New York City away from mom and sisters. New York City alone made me grow fast. So you took the initiative, Fahim Jackson. You weren't thinking, I'm a Black man, I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm traumatized. You went and did what the fuck you had to do, right? And that's how it usually works across the board, no matter what race, religion, or gender you are. That's usually how it happens. I do want to bring up this point really quickly before I pass the mic to James, and then we got to close very, very soon. This right here is important because Abby says, and get criticism for their hustle. When we saw Kevin Samuels blow up, right? 1 million followers, what he preached to Black women was your degree doesn't matter. Nobody cares, right? So you have to think a Black man with that influence and with that platform, instead of telling Black men to step up, right? And although he did, and no one talks about that, what was shared was him criticizing Black women, right? Calling them average at best, you're done after 30, the propaganda and all of that. But he was very adamant about criticizing Black women who were educated. Literally told them, no one fucking cares about your degree. So you have to understand that is the mentality. That's the mentality in the community. Nobody wants to talk about that. We want to talk about the trauma and the skin is too dark. No one wants to talk about the way education is looked at in the community. Literally said to the women, no one gives a fuck about your degree or your money. Nobody cares. You have to be submissive and feminine, friendly, and fit. So after a while, you really got to think, who's the bigger oppressor in the Black community? The Black man or the white man? I'll pass the mic. James, what would you like to say before we get out of here?
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me back. Haran, Lily, how are you guys doing?
Hey, James, good to see ya.
Hey, great. Good to see you guys. I agree with a lot of what's been said on the panel tonight. I really like what Haran said when he said, we as Black men, we have to get in the position where we can just say, fuck you. Hey, you don't want to hire me at this job? Fuck you. I'm going to go start my own business. Oh, this woman doesn't want me because I don't make such and such. Fuck you. I'm going to go get the woman I do want. I agree with what you said, Jen, when you said there are millionaires and there are billionaires come out of Black America every day, and I also agree with what Mr. Research said when he said it does matter that you're Black still, but that's still not an excuse because no white supremacy, no oppression, no redlining is greater than my ambition. That's the way I feel about it. So, I was going to be successful no matter what. I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up in the, late 80s, early 90s, riding around down the street, seeing billboards for the KKK. I grew up being called the N-word by cops, by teachers, but none of that was going to be strong enough to stop me from being successful. But I can still say that your skin color does matter, because generally society views women as less of a threat than they view black men. And you were asking earlier, you were saying, oh, well, what do black women have that black men don't? It's called being a double minority. Affirmative action just ended. So a lot of these companies were able to hire black women because it knocked off two boxes. They knocked off hiring a minority, and they knocked off hiring a woman, and they got tax breaks from that. And they're not seen as much of a threat as black men. Now, what I will say is Tyler Perry was dead wrong. If you're a man and you can only pay the light bill, you ain't worth shit. Seriously. If you can only pay the light bill, you deserve to sleep in the doghouse in the back. So no, I don't agree that a black woman that's done well for herself and that's well-to-do, let's say she's making $200,000 a year. What, a guy that can only pay the light bill, what is he making, $20,000 a year? No, I don't think she should get with him. And I do have sympathy for her, and I do empathize with her. But what I will say is a lot of these conversations that we have are based incorrectly, because I'm going to say this, and I know it may be people that disagree with me, but I promise you I'm telling you the truth. If you take the average of black women and the average of black men, black women do not make more money than black men. But we like pushing this narrative because the country and the culture of Black America has a love affair with shaming black men. Now, what I will say is that black men, we do need to stop making excuses. Get off of your ass. Go start a business. Work hard. Look, if there's racism, if there's redlining, if there's hiring disparities, leaning my way to what Mr. Research says, okay, you're going to have to just fight through it. You're going to have to just create those businesses and create that economy. You know, don't let other races of people come into your neighborhood and, you know, set up convenience stores, set up liquor stores, set up restaurants, and come in and leech off your community and take money away from your community that you could be getting. Okay, if you can't get the jobs in corporate America, what's stopping you from going and pulling your resources together and opening a corner store, opening a chicken hut, opening whatever you need to open to pull the resources in your community so you can have your women begin to work for you, and then you can get the respect that you want. But what I will say to those women, I'm big on accountability. Y'all know that I've always been big on, look, you have to take accountability for what you do. So what I will say to those women that are complaining, oh, well, the men can only pay the light bill. What I would say to you is, like Jen said, there's plenty of black men making money. Out here in Beverly Hills, I can tell you right now, I can show you so many black men that have lots of money and that are middle class and up. The question you have to ask, if you're one of those women that can only find a man that can pay the light bill, you have to ask yourself, how do you compete with those men that can pay all of your bills, that can tell you, hey, baby, get out that house. We're going to turn that into a rental property. You come live with me and you don't have to work again. Are you what that man wants? Are you competing with other women in that ilk, in that tier? It's levels to this shit. Are you competing with those women on a looks basis, on a weight basis, on a femininity basis? Are you competing with them so that you can qualify for one of those men that can pay all your bills? So just like a black man, I say, get off your ass and stop making excuses. Just work and go do the work. I say the same thing to those women that may have done well in corporate America and afford their own home. I'm saying, okay, you did well as a man. You can pay your bills, but did you do well as a woman that can attract a man that would take care of you? And we need to stop making excuses. You don't need to blame that on black men, because as soon as a black man becomes successful, which there are plenty of them, I'm going to tell you right now, he's not going to, work his fingers to the bone, work his knuckles to the white meat to become successful and jump all these hurdles and loopholes through corporate America. When it comes time for him to choose a woman, he's not going to turn into Gandhi, where he's going to say, oh, well, I know what black women have gone through and this and this and that. No, he's going to want the most feminine, attractive women he can get. I don't care if it's in the black community, the Latino community, the white community. So instead of wagging your finger at the black men who don't make the money that you want them to, those men have nothing to do with you. If it's a black man that works at UPS, he makes $60,000 a year. He has
Okay, so
700
let's so we got the point. Thank you you made great points, James. Thank you for that. I will say this so we can get out of here. I think this whole we got to take the community back. Let's not let these foreigners build it. It's falling on deaf ears. Like I said before, every community has an underbelly. Every community has underachievers, and for some reason, in the
We like
black
our Brazilian
community.
weaves.
Yeah, yes. And in the black community, for some reason, y'all think you can raise them up to make them the black elite. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Y'all been trying for centuries. Like you're in denial that there is an underbelly and a large community of underachievers in your own community. Every other race and ethnicity has accepted it. No Saint doesn't go hang out with the meth heads. I don't go hang out with the girls that are twerking the Cardi B. But for some reason, the black community, you really think we just got to step, because the black men that are about buying up the community have done so. The black men that are about achieving have done so. I don't know why y'all think these guys, there's some guys who want to roll blunts and chill out and just have a bunch of baby mamas. That's life. That is life. So again, that's why I say it's a hobby. It's a cute sport for a lot of people. Like, we got to raise up. Some people just don't want to raise up and they're comfortable. And I do want to say, as far as wagging the finger, let's not forget Tyler Perry brought this up. So when you talk about this narrative that black men are underachieved, well, Tyler Perry himself, a billionaire, and I'm sure he's well-versed in his community, right? Take me out of it, and who I dated. I'm sure he's well-versed in his community. He said, women, if you want love, let the guy in the house that just pays the light bill. He is a black man. He said it about black men, directing it towards black women. That was his statement. That's why we're all here tonight. So take it up with Mr. Perry. He said it. Thank you, everyone who contributed tonight. This was really, really badass. Great discussion. Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door. Muchos, muchos kisses. Be back tomorrow. We got another good one tomorrow. We're going to talk about hate watching and the psychology behind it. Very, very interesting. All right, guys. Good night. Salute to all of you. The points were fucking fabulous. Even if I didn't agree with them all. Great argument. See you again tomorrow on The Block with Jen. Good night.
Good night.
Hit that like and subscribe on your way out the door for mama. Good night. Very true, JB. Who isn't traumatized living on this planet? Tristan! Good night, guys.